Hello. Welcome to the full moon meandering for this month. I have a lovely view of the moon outside my window. A little covered with clouds, but that just makes it look more mysterious, right? I don't really have anything to meander much about today, except about meandering, I guess. Earlier today I was trying to do a writing or something, and something had intruded from the outside that started my thoughts going off somewhere in a different direction. And I thought, it'd be really nice to just sit someday, pen in hand or not, maybe with some music playing, and just see where the thoughts go. Because sometimes when I'm writing, I'll, end up looking off into the distance, and the brain will go and play, and it won't have anything really to do with the story. It's just a squirrel moment. And it would be kind of nice to just do that on purpose, I think. Not to meander on purpose, because let's be honest, if I sat down to make my thoughts meander, I would be following it straight lined all the way down. So I guess that's the way to get something actually done. But because sometimes meandering thoughts can be nice. The side rails we go on, the tracks that lead off onto other trails, and words associations, and one thing leads to another. Sometimes we reach conclusions or thoughts or suppositions that we might never have come to before. Sometimes some thoughts that come in are like very uncomfortable, and we're like, you know what? That is not something I feel like entertaining. But now we've thought about it, so now we know our answer to that. So I'm hoping to do that someday in the future, to just sit and allow myself time for the thoughts to wander, to not be constrained, to have the freedom to maybe unravel themselves a little bit. Because sometimes trying to focus on something can kind of feel like winding it tighter and tighter. We keep trying to get back to the answer, or back to the root, or back on track. And it's nice to let things be, let things release, let all the little tidbits and the yarn bits that are hanging out in the brain finish their purpose, their thought, as it were. They don't always lead anywhere specific. They just sometimes need to be expressed, maybe. Okay. Terry Pratchett had this theory that he expressed in one of his Discworld books, or a couple of them, that ideas were just all there, kind of like air, like the dust particles. And for those of us with special brains, if they were open enough, the ideas would just flow in. Some people were able to organize those thoughts. Some people just let it all flow out again in a different format. But sometimes it feels like that. Thoughts will pop in that I don't know where they came from. I don't have any frame of reference for them, and they're not something I would normally think. But, okay, that is a thought. That is a thing that's out in the world. And I don't need to do anything with that. Or, that's a fabulous thought. I like that. I wonder if I can incorporate that. Maybe I'll write that down so it will get lost in my pile of papers as opposed to my pile of thoughts. But anyway, that was today's thing. Thoughts just floating, kind of like the clouds, like the river flowing. It's never going to be the same twice. So I hope that as the moon reaches its fullness tomorrow, sometime in the afternoon, which is why we're doing this tonight, that that some good things come to fruition for us all. And I hope that as we enter this cycle of the new moon, some beautiful new thoughts spring to life and bring more beauty. Take care of you.